Hello, friends. This is Kate Mangona.
And Victor Mangona.
And
All right, this is the 39.6 Facebook YouTube Live Finance Show. We are broadcasting to the 39.6 Facebook group, my page, and
Medicine, Marriage, and Money Facebook group. If you're in my group, you can see this.
This is the show where we talk about how to make your money work for you.
So you don't have to work for your money.
We talk general investing, taxes, real estate, syndications, Airbnb, paying for college, paying for childcare, and
even the car you drive.
All right.
Thank goodness I remember.
We haven't practiced that, but luckily you know the intro by now.
Oh my gosh! Well, thanks for having me on your show, Victor. I think I've only ever been on like one time before.
I think I'm on your show though. I don't know.
You were on a podcast once. I'm going to have you on
a couple
again
times
for Father's
I can't
Day.
believe we're on episode 180 already over here. 180.
Well, thanks for coming. If you guys see us, go ahead and give us some hearts, give us some likes, let us know where you're from. And I was just going to ask Victor a few questions just to warm us up.
You didn't tell me we were going to go over questions.
I was just going to ask you something like, when did you start investing in real estate? Just for maybe the people who are in my group who don't really know you.
Oh,
because
okay.
I know we're posting in both of our groups at the same time, but my people don't know you.
Okay. Well, that's a good plan. I have been investing in real estate. Well, my parents owned rental properties growing up. So as long as I can pretty much remember, we have managed rental properties of my parents. And then I bought my first condo when I was in med school, which became my first rental, which was planned. And then after we became attendings, we started buying up properties. And we've done long-term rentals, short-term rentals, Airbnbs, and more recently, medium-term rentals.
Medium-term rentals, yeah.
This is a new.
We love medium-term.
This is a new term that I have to do an episode on. I don't think anybody has actually coined this term.
What's the term? Is that the term? It's 3 months?
Yeah, like a 2 to 3.
Yeah,
like a 2 to 3 month rental, or maybe a 1 to 3 month rental.
Those are the best.
Furnished. Those are the best. Yeah. After having done short-term rentals, if I went back, I would never do them again. Well, it's great for the depreciation, for the losses. If you keep it under 7-day average days, then you can write off the entire depreciation off a W-2 income. But other than that, medium-term rentals are awesome.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this, because we are, announcing the masterclass launch, the Multifamily Masterclass launch, which is launching today, which you can still sign up, which is why we're here to let you know. But it's about passive investing, right? So tell us how you got into passive investing and why you kind of transitioned from, okay, let's gung-ho and buy a house every year, start all these Airbnbs, into more passive.
Wow. And I'm just gonna say hi. I see a Kenji out there. Hi, Kenji. Great to see you there.
Long shorts.
Yeah, long shorts. Yeah, medium term. Yeah, long shorts. Okay. Long shorts, like board shorts. Yes. Or like,
I know. I was like, did I stand up?
I'm wearing scrubs underneath on the bottom
a jumper.
Here. So as we started making money a lot faster than we had before, I realized deploying capital was actually becoming more challenging. And as I worked and as I made more and more money, I also worked more and more at my job. And so the value of my time was like a hockey stick, where it was literally almost zero per hour when you're in training, right? And then it was a good income when we just started. And then it was I became a partner, and it was just hockey stick, because my income multiple went up, but then my had gone down. So the value of my time had gotten so expensive. So that's where we kind of went to more passive syndicated routes, so that we could scale up our best resource, which was income, and scale down our time and scale up our portfolio.
Which we did. We saved a lot of time. And welcome, Kathy.
Welcome, Kathy. We had a face there.
We had a face.
I think we need to squeeze a little bit, because we're down to 2. we're fitting 2 people in on half a screen. So we're using a quarter of a screen.
We did invite the other course writers and hosts so that we could make sure we could answer everybody's questions. If anybody came with questions, if not, if you're just here for fun and like you already know you're going to sign up, that's perfect too.
All right. So we just had Kathy for a second. We also have invited. Oh, okay,
yeah,
there
somebody
she is.
said I'm on your show. One of the first episodes. So the first time I was ever on Victor's show was last summer, and we were talking about nanny versus au pair. So it was like almost a year ago. I should come on your show.
You know what's crazy? The very first live episode I did, which was years ago, and I had all these people.
4 years ago?
I can't remember. It was like on a Sunday night, and Kenji was there. And I remember him joining in. I was like, oh, Kenji's here. And I had all these other people jumping in, asking questions like, this is fun. I need to do this more. We have Jess Hernandez.
Yeah,
oh,
Jess.
Welcome.
I know. I just gave her our babysitter's number today. So.
Oh, which babysitter?
Our new one. I know, but but you know what? I have the abundance mentality, Victor.
Oh.
We cannot have scarcity mentality, even when it comes to babysitters.
But this is like, oh man, it's like giving your best contractors away.
She said she needed her for this week, so I'm hoping not like every night for the rest of the summer.
We got this awesome new babysitter. She is an M1 at the med school, like 2 miles away, and so she has her whole summer off, and she's like, I need to babysit and make some money, and she lives 2 miles from here, so she's fully vaccinated, and
she's cautious.
She's able to do infant and toddler CPR.
No problem with the EpiPen,
So we are very happy. Okay, Kathy was in my husband's med school. Wow. Facebook user.
Gosh, who is that? And who is your husband? If you want to share, I can't see.
Yeah, we can't see you right now because we're on too many different
Kathy,
groups.
Why don't we let Kathy introduce
can you?
herself
Oh, sorry, Kate. Kathy, hold on. Kathy Carroll. There we go. All right. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I can see you. It's amazing the world we live in.
Oh, Anthony Michaud. Yes. Of course.
Hi, Anthony Michaud.
we used to live like 2 blocks away.
Oh, this is actually probably Farial comments.
It's Farial, yes.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right there in Hawaii now.
It is a small world.
Yes, her husband is a sweetheart.
Yeah, and he's a radonk in Hawaii.
Yep.
Crazy. I worked in Hawaii for 1 summer. That was fantastic. And I'm a radonk.
Maybe someday we'll work in Hawaii again.
Maybe sometime we'll just live in Hawaii.
Okay, so as we're allowing Vina into the room, Kathy, please tell us a little bit, maybe like 30 seconds, who you are and why you love real estate and passive investing.
Sure. So I'm an internal medicine doc. I'm a hospitalist down in San Diego, but this is actually my second career. I started off in finance. I'm a CFA, which is a chartered financial analyst. It's kind of like doing a fellowship in Excel, if you want to think of it that way.
How long is the fellowship?
It's you have to take the test over 3 years, basically.
3 years.
Yeah. But I used to do equity analysis, so like buy, sell, hold type recommendations. And, somewhere along the way, I became an accidental landlord and then a very deliberate landlord when I realized that it was making me a lot of money. And I've just kind of kept doing that after I transitioned to medical school and now attending life just because I've liked the extra income.
Perfect. I love it. 3-year fellowship.
And you are in San Diego right now?
San Diego.
Right. San Diego.
So Jay.
Which is why you can't go to Hawaii. It's the next best thing.
All right. Yes. Okay. And
well, you look beautiful, as does Vina. Absolutely gorgeous over there. Oh, I get a round of applause.
You can also get. There we go. The one, the only.
So Vina, what's your 30-second intro?
Oh, okay. I don't do anything in 30 seconds.
Okay, you 15-second intro over 30 seconds.
Okay, that I can do, I think. So I'm Vina Jetty. I am a multifamily owner-operator. We run a private equity fund specifically specializing in large multifamily acquisitions. We currently have about $400 million in our portfolio across Texas, Florida, and Georgia. How did I do? Was I in time?
That's perfect. That's spot on.
Did you give a number of digits?
On how many units?
How much is the total portfolio?
Like 400 million. It's a little
dollars.
more, slightly more.
Yes. US dollars.
Yes, not units. I wish. But
And how many doors is this?
A little over 3,000.
3,000 doors. So like if that was like a city block over here, that's like, I don't know, 20 doors on a city block. So this is a lot of like city blocks if we're counting doors.
We do have a couple of questions already.
Actually, sorry, Kate, I was just going to tell you, I have had an entire city block in my portfolio previously when I was in corporate America.
It was like one property, the whole block.
Over 1 million square feet in DC on K Street. It was like, it took up 17th to 18th and then I to K. It was a whole city block in DC Northwest.
Monopoly.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was working for a company that's like a multi-billion-dollar company. Though, so
Okay.
They had a lot of big assets in their
$1 billion. All right.
Well, okay. So we do have a question. How do we all know each other? And Vina and I actually met at a Hop Dottie bar through Victor.
We did.
And we didn't like just like meet at the bar.
No, we weren't like,
we were at the bar.
We intentionally met.
Which Hop Dottie is not really a bar. It's just like an incredible burger
Vina
joint.
And Victor met like 4 years ago on a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Was it 4 years? Maybe longer.
I don't know.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook. I think we met in Ryan's group, Physician Finance.
Could have been.
I think actually all roads lead to Ryan because that's how Kathy and I know each other too.
And Ryan's wife went to high school with Kate.
Yes. And my husband was in the Facebook group Dad's Married to Doctors, which is like PMG, but for the husbands to tolerate.
I think the amount of drama in Dad's Married to Doctors, and I don't know PMG, but I'm going to say it's probably about 99% less.
Oh.
Is there?
I haven't really been on it, so I can't say, but you're probably right.
Ryan Inman from Financial
Services. Yeah, Financial Residence.
Oh, wow. She's got her book.
His podcast is like crazy successful because amazing.
But he was friends with my husband and he actually moved to San Diego. So now he's like 10 minutes from me. And then so he introduced me to Vina, who introduced me to Victor. And here we are.
Here we are. All right.
Oh, wait, you guys didn't know each other before? Oh, okay. I didn't know I was your guys' mutual connection.
Yeah.
So all roads lead to Ryan.
He's like, who's that guy? Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of Ryan Inman.
Yes. Okay. So question number 1. Kate, can you find the first question?
The first question was medium term.
Oh, what's that?
Well, what's that? We saw that.
Okay. All right.
3
so
months.
Moving on.
Syndication versus SFR.
Single family rentals.
What's best for tax break?
Oh, okay. Victor, is this a Victor question?
Okay. So
depends, right?
I mean, a property is a property, right? Yeah. Like the question here, syndication and single family rental are not mutually exclusive things, right? Technically, you could syndicate a single family property. Like I have $1 million property here and we could have syndicated that across 5 people or 20 people, whatever. So that's kind of, it's hard to answer that question directly, but if the question is like a single family home versus an apartment complex, well, then the question really comes down to like how much you're able to depreciate it. What's your bonus depreciation, and does bonus depreciation even help you, right? So like if you don't have full-time real estate professional status, doesn't necessarily make a difference. If there's a question between a long-term rental and a short-term rental, what's better for a tax break? It's very easy to say that a short-term rental is much more likely going to give you a tax break if done properly as compared to a long-term rental, simply because they're considered active income if you keep the daily rental average or the average booking period less than 7 days with current tax law. You do not need real estate professional status to take active losses on short-term rentals. But in general, bonus depreciation tends to be done more on bigger properties because it's more cost effective to do that. But that all being said, we did bonus depreciation. We did a cost segregation analysis on our $1 million properties. Still was well worth it to me. So we got gigantic gigantic depreciation off of these two properties, or this one property after doing a cost segregation analysis. So it's going to be dependent on so many things. A typical multifamily syndication, if you're a limited partner, I would say that the typical deal will give you about a 60% negative K1 in the first year. I've seen as low as like 30% or 40% negative K1s, and as high as about 110% loss on a K1. But I don't know, Vina, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the question that really we're talking about is not so much the vehicle type as we are talking about whether you are qualifying as active or passive income, which is what you were kind of talking about a little bit. And I think that there's strategies around both, right? We utilize strategies around both for our family too. So for those of you that don't know, I'm married to a physician. So we have, a high income earner over there. And obviously I'm a high income earner, but more specifically, I qualify for the full-time real estate status. So we get a lot of bonus depreciation that we can actually take as active write-offs against my husband's salary. But we do pay tax strategists to make sure that we're as tax efficient as possible.
That we're paying zero tax.
Victor, you just call me right out like that.
If you have that many assets and you're not paying zero tax and you have real estate professional status,
you've messed up.
Something is going wrong.
Yeah.
Something.
You need a better tax strategist then.
Right.
We do have a lot of assets and we do utilize our depreciation, and it does get recaptured when we do sell assets. So it's not just tax-free forever, it's tax deferred, right? And there are other opportunities even within that you can utilize, like a 1031 exchange, a Delaware statutory trust. So there's a lot of other vehicles that can be utilized within real estate specifically that allow you to have very tax advantaged positions. So even as a passive investor, you can utilize different strategies to make sure that you are maximizing your tax efficiency.
All right, thank you for that. Please post questions in the chat box so that we can get a queue, and we will try to answer all of them.
And if you're just coming into the room, let us know where you're listening from, because I'm always curious where you guys are from. Yeah, post your questions. And the next question, did we answer the next question too? It was about tax too. Go back to the chat.
Okay, sorry.
It was from Maria as well.
Are both the same for tax write-off for depreciation?
Oh, did we answer that?
Is the question about whether or not the depreciation is the same, whether or not it's active or passive, or whether or not it's single family or syndication?
This person was replying to Maria. So
I'm very confused. But
well, let me try to see if we can answer at least at a high level, right? And none of us have any tax licenses. So this is not even remotely tax advice, right? So it does not matter. Your depreciation is going to be your depreciation regardless of the type of asset. It's more about whether or not you utilize something called cost segregation. What cost segregation is essentially we bring in experts who do have the appropriate knowledge to be able to go in and break down where and how we can depreciate renovations, and they basically will take one asset, break it apart into multiple pieces, and depreciate it on the most tax advantage schedule possible. The reason we bring in a cost segregation specialist to do that is because if we are audited by the IRS, it's a much more beneficial story to have someone who's an expert in this, who has done the cost segregation study. So typically, and I know, Victor, you guys do this on your single families, but almost never is it cost effective to do it on a single family because it's so cost prohibitive usually. But on large scale multifamily, it absolutely makes sense. The results of that study is what's going to really tell us how we can take our depreciation on our asset. And within the course, we will have tax strategists come in to speak to this with a lot more authority and background than any of us have. But generally speaking, it does not matter where the depreciation is coming from, whether it is a single family or a multifamily. It's going to be a negative K1, which you can utilize on your tax return. As far as how it is treated on your individual tax return, that matters based on what your personal situation is. So even the four of us here on stage right now, right? I am treated completely differently than Kathy or Victor or Kate. And even Victor and Kate could be treated differently than Kathy is. It just really depends on your personal tax status. So that's why you need to be working with a CPA who is preferably familiar with real estate and also medicine if you are in the medical field, because there's a lot of nuance around it. And there's a lot of different strategies that you can put into place that will allow you to actually maximize the benefits on both ends of that.
Perfect.
Well.
Okay, so
How does this course help a very novice learner?
since this is the Multifamily Masterclass Q A, how about Kathy? Can you just give us a little rundown on the program and then answer that question, please?
So that's exactly what it's designed for, is somebody who is really not familiar with this and is not a real estate expert. So somebody that is looking to move into syndications and specifically multifamily, since that's our area of expertise. But you're at a point where you don't know what you don't know. You don't even know what questions to ask, right? So it's laid out for somebody who's a total novice, who doesn't know about real estate, to go all the way from A to Z. So we start with, what is a syndication? All the way to, how do you vet a syndicator? How do you get a sponsor? And then we get kind of in the weeds. We threw those at Victor, because he's the math teacher. Of, how do you look at what's ROI? What are all these numbers that people throw around? So the whole purpose of the course is for somebody who's totally fresh, doesn't know this stuff, to go all the way through the end and have a comfort level in making a decision. Is this right for your portfolio? And if so, what am I going to look for when I try to make that decision? Because without knowing that, everything looks good. It's kind of like looking at college catalogs, right? They all look fantastic. They all have nice websites. But in reality, some are better than others.
Thank you.
I think that answers the next question too. Is this a good course if we feel like we know nothing yet? Yes.
All right, and it says, what's a limited partner? I had brought up that term earlier. Kathy, you want to take that one real quick?
Mm-hmm. So there's basically two things you're going to hear thrown around a lot: limited partner and general partner. There's some other stuff too, but we'll save that. But the limited partner is going to be the investor, and it means you're limited because your role is limited. You put money in, and that's it. You don't have responsibilities. You're not getting phone calls. You don't run the show, right? And then there is the general partner. The general partner is doing all those things. They find the deal, they finance the deal, they keep that deal going. They are sending you your deposits. They sell it at the end. So they're doing all the heavy lifting. So the limited partner, the LP, that's the investor. And then the general partner, the GP, that's the one that's actually doing the heavy lifting.
Perfect.
Now,
Thank you.
I like to be considered more like an unlimited partner.
I want one of those little cheering things just for my everyday life. I'm just going to carry it around.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the easy button.
Yeah.
Whenever you do something, like you finish a dictation,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
right, and then it gives you a little bit more oomph so you can actually get to the next one.
I like it.
All right, because that's the great thing about multifamily syndications is that as a limited partner, you have like zero effort time that has to go into this. Like it's all front loaded in terms of looking at the deal, vetting it, dealing with the paperwork, transferring the money, and then tax documents once a year. But that way you can literally invest unlimitedly. You just keep investing more and more and more. All right.
Got a next question from Facebook user. Sorry, we can't see your name, everybody's names, but
I'm putting up here.
yes.
Thanks for doing this. Is the sponsor the same thing as the GP, Miss GP Vina?
So the actual technical correct answer is no, they are not the same thing. And we actually go into this in depth in the course because this is something that a lot of people will use interchangeably, and even sponsors will use it interchangeably. And So this is one of those things where, all squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are not squares, sort of. So most of the time, your sponsor is going to be the same as your GP. They're going to be both. Not all of the time. And this is the attorney, their favorite answer is, it depends. It depends. I know Kathy's laughing because she's heard this from the attorney like a bajillion times. It's like, what does it depend on? But it really does depend on the situation. So you can be a sponsor. And what a sponsor is they are the actual people and or company behind the deal. What a GP is that's the person who has the general partnership ownership in the deal itself. So while you are very likely, if you're a sponsor, you're going to have some kind of equity in the deal on the GP side, you're not always going to be both. And similarly, you can have a GP on a deal who's not a sponsor on a deal. And that's actually the more common one that we see. So a lot of times a sponsor will give equity in the general partnership to another individual who's not actually truly sponsoring it. And it could be for a multitude of reasons, right? It can be in exchange for balance sheet or experience so that they can qualify for the debt. It can be what's called a KP or a key principal, which is an exchange for the net worth and liquidity requirements to qualify for the debt. It can be because it's someone who brought the deal to them. It could be because it's my mom and I want to give her a slice of the GP. So there's a lot of different reasons why someone can be a GP on a deal, but just because they're signing as a general partner doesn't necessarily make them a sponsor of the deal. So when you're vetting a deal and you're vetting a sponsor, you want to make sure you're looking at the sponsor specifically, because the general partnership doesn't matter as much as the people behind the deal, which is the sponsor.
Thank you. All right. So our next question
is from Pooja.
is Pooja. Will we get to invest in syndications with you?
Somebody texted me this earlier today too. She wanted to know.
I mean, the truth is you can do that without doing this course, right? Like, it's not a requirement to do this course. The goal behind this course is actually not even anything to do with our syndication projects or any of our multifamily deals. Really, the reason is every single time we're raising funds on a deal, we have a very specific process we like to follow. We like our investors to be very comfortable with the deal when they're doing the deal. And especially recently on Element 41, when we were working on that project, we had a massive amount of investors, maybe more so than ever, that came to us asking us questions that they had already invested in a syndication, or they were already familiar with multifamily. They'd taken a course in multifamily, and then they had questions that really they should know. And for us as sponsors and as general partners, an educated investor is a better investor, because this is not without risk. It's definitely something that you should understand and know before you invest into it. And so the goal of this is really to give you the tools to be able to evaluate a deal, whether it be one of our deals or it's someone else's deal or it's a self-storage deal. It shouldn't really matter, because ultimately the process is still very similar even between asset classes. So the answer is you don't need to do this course in order to invest with any of us. Now, whether or not you can get in off our wait list, that's a whole different conversation. But assuming that you can get a spot, then
hold on. Oh, wrong one.
This is like an eerie ghost one.
Where's the laughter track? Where's the laughter?
How many of these are there?
8.
Oh, only 8?
Yeah.
So lowbrow.
Okay. There's one laugh track that I can't find. Anyhow,
Kate laughed for us, and she's
so in terms of the actual class, Kathy, can you give us a rundown of the class?
It covers a lot. So what we're doing is we're just running it 1 week at a time, so we don't overwhelm people. So each week we're going to dig into certain topics. There's videos, and those are just self-paced, right? So you can binge watch them if you want to do that instead of watching Netflix, or you can just go one at a time. But on top of that, we wanted to give people an opportunity to ask questions, right? Because you're going to hit something that maybe it just doesn't click for you, or you need a little more detail. So we also have kind of an Ask Me Anything happy hour type setup that we're going to run throughout the course. So each week you're going to get different chunks of information, so it's not too much. But then you're going to have, I won't call it one-on-one, 4-on-many time with us in some kind of online format where you can ask your questions. And then we've got some like handouts and things like that to try to reinforce what you're learning.
How many hours of content would you say there is here?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. We tried to keep it manageable. It's the goal is for it to be enough, but not to be overwhelming.
How many weeks long is the course?
What did we make it? 6, I think, total.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then a bonus course from Kate.
Yes. But
And,
I'll let Kate talk about that.
and the lectures are going to be available to people who are during the 6 weeks, and then do they disappear?
No,
No,
they're not going to disappear. Yeah, you'll always have access. We're only going to unlock 1 week at a time because, it's kind of like handing somebody a textbook like this, and you don't want to open the book. So we're just going to open things 1 week at a time. But once they're open, they're yours forever.
Okay. And at the how did she say it in Pretty Woman? At the bargain price of
Yeah.
At the bargain price, it's going to be $1,000, kind of as a thank you to our first set of students for going through this with us. It'll be more later, but in the beginning, we wanted to encourage people to come and join and give us feedback.
All right.
Be a bargain investment.
All right. Thank you.
It's an evergreen course.
Like a winter course?
Yeah, like a big fir tree, like Christmas tree. No, it's evergreen in the sense that, so the other thing that is probably not talked about enough is things change pretty much on like a daily basis. And like by the time we're done with this, there would have been a change to what best practices are. And so we're going in and we're constantly updating it. For example, we know that the SEC has a proposed rule amendment. They just had one back in December that they passed and reissued. So we've actually already gone in and it's updated to date right now. And then there's a proposed one. It was supposed to come out, and was it mid-March, I think? Now it's April something, mid-April, and it's still not done yet. So at some point, as soon as they give us clear guidance on what it is, that'll get updated again. So the course will continuously change even after a lot of people have completed it. But you always have access to that information. And so the thought is, if you're looking at a deal, let's say you see 123 self-storage project and you want to go and you want to vet that, or 234 Main Street apartments and you want to vet that. And let's say it's a year from now and you're like, oh, what did they say about how to look at post-renovated rents, right? You can go back and you can pick just that slice out and you can kind of do a little refresher on that and watch that later on. So you're not having to go through the whole course. Or if someone says something to you and you're like, something just doesn't feel right about that, but I'm not really sure, or I don't know what question I need to ask next, you can go back and just refresh with that. And they're in short video spurts. So the other idea too is, Kate and Kathy and I, we're all moms, and we're all working moms. And so the idea too was to have it be really easy for women who do have children also. So you can listen to this in 2 to 10 minute spurts most of the time. Almost all the videos are in those shorter, easy to digest formats.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Thank you. And we have another question here. Will the course also discuss how to vet deals on crowdfunding sites and discuss which sites are more reliable than the others?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I don't have a good one for this. Oh, here we go.
That sounds like it's like Dateline. The murderer or something. Okay.
Which website is more reliable than others?
So do you want me to answer this one, Victor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the truth is that it doesn't actually matter where the deal is from. The deal is the deal is the deal, whether you're buying it personally with a group of friends, whether it's a syndication. Really what the tools you're going to get are not so much how to vet just the sponsor of the deal, but also the actual deal specifics. So you're going to understand how to look at any deal and determine if those assumptions being made are correct, or how to ask for the information that you really need to make a good decision. So the answer is you should be able to walk away from this and be able to vet a deal on a crowdfunding site with the same amount of confidence you could vet a syndication deal. They're not very different. Where you're going to see your key differences is in how their process works, and then their fee structures are usually going to be a little bit different. We do also have relationships with some of the largest crowdfunding sites in the world, and so we will be bringing in some data points and feedback on that. And if there's anybody in the course that has like a one-off question about that and wants to discuss it further, of course, we'll be available for that. As far as putting a stamp of approval on anything, the answer is going to be a resounding no. None of us are licensed to give you any kind of legal, financial, tax advice. So all of this is for education only. We will not ever tell you whether or not to invest in any one deal or anything like that. We are not fiduciaries to you. It's very important that you know and understand that. You'll hear us repeat that ad nauseum. However, that's the whole point of the course, is you should walk away feeling like you have enough confidence and information to be able to decide what is reliable or what is something that you want to invest into. And my general tip is, if you are not comfortable with an investment, no matter what, don't do it. There is 100 million investments out there. It's not going to be the last deal that you're ever going to come across. You should really understand and know the deal. And if your sponsor or whoever is putting out the offering is not working to make sure that you understand the deal and answering all of your questions, you really just shouldn't do it. You should wait until you're more comfortable.
And I will add, we did do a whole section on that.
Yes, we did.
We have a whole section in the course on the crowdfunding sites, and the short answer is I don't like them. But that's
hold on. Let me watch them first to find out what you say. I got to watch them all to get.
My short answer is no, but you can watch the whole thing. And I may have to eat my words later, but they really haven't been through a down cycle yet. Maybe they're going to be fine. Maybe they haven't. I prefer to work with people that have been in this long enough to have a little bit of gray hair, or at least go through a bad market.
I have gray hair.
And I have plenty of that. Don't worry about that. But that bothers me a little bit. And the other thing that bothers me is a lot of them raise money like $500 at a time. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to raise money $500 at a time if you had a really good deal? That's actually expensive to do. So it raises the question of, you couldn't raise money in larger chunks at a time. Why is that? But again, they might be fine, but for me, I don't do it.
All right. And we have a Facebook user who just signed up.
I want to look on my Facebook.
You're on camera still.
I know I'm on camera. That doesn't mean I can't.
Victor.
We do things a little bit differently in our Facebook lives.
Just
so that's
FYI.
okay.
Just FYI. I try to look at the screen the whole time because I'm on camera.
Oh, you do?
I try to.
You're just a prince among men.
No.
Yes.
I just. Okay.
Well, I think that wraps up all the questions we have.
All right.
And
Facebook user.
We're coming up to 40 minutes. So that
oh
was
my
perfect.
gosh, time just
and
flies.
thank you so much, Kathy and Vina, because I know I sprung this upon you like 4 hours ago.
I start my life. That's my normal.
Well, I think we're all really excited to get this
Yes.
kicked off and started, and we've put so much love and energy into this. So I think it's just, it's going to be a great course. I think we all have a lot of fun with each other. I actually think more than even the videos, I think that our live sessions are going to be more fun because they'll be more interactive, and I think they'll be even more educational, and we'll be able to really get down into the nitty gritty. And the other thing too that I've been telling people who have been asking me, this is actually intended, the way we set it up was for it to hit a whole lot of different needs, right? So it hits the beginner who knows, what is a syndication? I don't even know anything. I've never heard this word before. What's a multifamily, right? So we start there. And the way it was designed was to build on that. So people that, even if you've invested in 1 or 2 or 10 syndications, you don't necessarily have the current and best information. And we have it because we're doing this every day, right? So even from the time we did Element 41, which we closed in October of last year, to now, our assumptions, our modeling has completely changed. It just doesn't work in today's environment. And so that's how quick this information is changing. And that's why I think it's really important that anybody who's taking this course notes that you're getting this information directly from people who are actually doing this. Like, that is my main business. Teaching courses is not where we excel. It's the actual doing of the deals. So we're able to speak firsthand knowledge to these deals. So I think that's important. So even if you have done a lot of deals, this will give you an even deeper dive into what you should have been asking, or you should be asking. And maybe you know that, and maybe you want to go into something even further. We can continue down those rabbit holes because we can speak at a very, very detailed level to how deals are being underwritten, how they should be underwritten. And then lastly, I have a lot of other sponsors who are looking at taking this course, not because they're trying to learn about how to passively invest, but they're trying to understand what they should be educating their investors on and how their investors should be looking at deals. And also we talk about our best practices, which obviously, it's like a little bit of secret sauce, but it is really important for investors to understand how we are vetting our deals and the processes that we go through and the due diligence that we go through on the other side.
All right. Thank you very much. Kathy, any parting words?
I hope to see you all there.
All right. Have a great night, San Diego.
Good night. Kathy left real quick.
She bounced.
Bye.
She's back. All right. Again, this is legal, financial, any other advice, strictly for our entertainment, hopefully yours, until episode 181. Have a good night.
Night.